What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Deadpan cast, Deadpan podcast. Yeah, all those.
Deadcast.
Deadcast, Deadpan cast.
Pen
How's it going,
things.
everybody? I'm your stand-in guest tonight, Dan, or guest, stand-in host.
I
Guest
was like,
host.
you're not a guest.
Get it together,
trying to
Dan.
say-
Jesus.
I just need a few more White Claws. It's okay. I'm basic bitching it. I'm celebrating the 4th of July.
Woo!
I'm your
4th of
guest
July.
host, Dan. With me, or I'm filling in for Patrick.
That's not what we're celebrating. We're celebrating our affiliate stream.
Yes. Let me get through my intro.
No.
No.
As much as I'm stumbling and tripping.
It's lovely. Anyways.
With me is Maria
Hello.
and Erica.
It's me.
I'm filling
That
in
is
for
you.
Patrick as he is out actually celebrating the holiday like a real person, not
Oh, look.
stuck
jerk.
indoors. And yes, this is our affiliate stream to make affiliate. Hopefully.
Yes.
No, actually, like this should be it for us to actually make affiliate. That we needed one more stream on the channel
more
for this
stream.
week. So yay, affiliate stream. Hopefully that makes us hit that metrics there, and we can sign up and we be affiliate. Yay! But we're also going to talk about something about Independence Day, the movie, and disaster
Movie.
movies and games.
Disaster movies.
Yes, 'cause
Chaos.
why not? Independence Day, probably one of the best disaster movies ever made, I think.
Yes.
At least. It's kind of the whole notion here. Doing a stream about Independence Day, the movie on Independence Day, while we celebrate. Yeah, so we are going to look at talking about some of our favorite disaster movies as well as games. The disaster games category is a little loosey-goosey. We're kind of branching that out into post-apocalyptic games as well. I see Dreaded Fox here in the chat. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, darling.
Hello. Darling.
It's my sister.
I knew one of them was.
Yeah.
But something else for us to touch on as well is I wanted to mention that last week we hosted a charity stream for Planned Parenthood, and we, as a team effort, raised $700
I think it's
Yes.
705 to be specific.
to be exact.
We got
And-
over 700.
And all of that $700, they are matched dollar for dollar by
Yes.
Planned Parenthood. So that's $1,400 that we were able to raise with our channel, with our streams, where we beat the living crap out of each other in Gang Beast. Erica, you were doing Divinity.
Yes.
believe.
Divinity. Original Sin 2.
Nice. Thank
That
you.
was
And
fun.
you got another $100-ish on your stream,
Something like that.
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And then Brandy and I did some zombies on Call of Duty, and we got another $25 to round it out, close to the $700 there, which is great because our original goal was only like $200, and we crushed it, and it was amazing. Thank you, everyone who did donate for that. It felt pretty good. Can't deny. Oh
did.
dear.
Oh dear.
I've talked a lot. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. Do you want a fun
I-
fact?
Fun fact. Let's hear it.
Oh, give me a fun fact.
Well, this is my first Independence Day as an American citizen.
Oh right, yeah.
That's right, it is.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Wah,
Welcome to
wah.
America.
Wow. You're not running around outside with Roman candles like we're in America.
I should be.
With those things that are on like six that you twirl around. They go. You do like those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in
I
1950.
did eat a cheeseburger today, so I feel good.
There you go.
I'm
That's how you
proud of you.
celebrate being an American.
I think the only other like super American food would have been a hot dog.
Yeah, I don't like those. It's too much like eating dick.
Oh,
Hot dogs
Anyway,
are
moving
ruined
on.
forever for me. Dang
I'm
it.
gonna clip that.
Anyway, moving on. Disasters.
Thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight. I hope you're both doing well on this lovely evening. I had a little bit of introducing you all, like the ever talented artist Maria and the now platinumed Erica.
Platinum.
Yeah,
Platinumed.
my hair.
Yeah.
Did you you platinumed yourself?
I have gotten my platinum trophy.
Her hair is white. That's
It's
what we're
so
talking
good.
about.
Yes,
Here,
that
I
is.
have a yellowish light on, so if I
For all the
turn it to,
visual
like,
listeners, her
regular,
hair
it
is white.
looks a lot more white.
I see.
Yeah.
She's a silver fox.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
Anyways, moving on.
disaster
Yes,
movies.
disaster movies. Uh, I already said it at the top of the show. Independence Day is probably one of the best ones. I want to go around and talk about some of our favorites besides Independence Day, or just gush about Independence Day if that's what you want to do. No holds barred. Is that the saying?
Mhm.
Anyways, going to.
That didn't feel right, and I don't know what it was that didn't feel right.
I have no idea. Oh no, our RLU, correct? Said that they were rushing
You're
over here
lucky
to
to
drop a
come.
sub and they couldn't yet. Sorry, this is our affiliate stream to become affiliate.
Yep.
So next time, which will actually be hopefully, if it kicks in, it'll be me and Maria are going to play a co-op game on Wednesday night.
Oh,
Yes.
fun.
Yes,
So drop
I'll
us a
drop you
sub.
guys alert because I'll be live too.
that's right. You will be live with your channel at
Yep.
D5.
Don't
Uh,
worry. I'm a good
we
lurker.
can try to lurk. Well, we're not leak. Anyways,
Yeah.
A lurky dirk.
lurk. There it is. The eating dig
Oh, good job,
clip.
clip, because I don't think mine actually worked.
I'm being clipped. I'm on the internet forever saying that. Wow. Okay.
That's what you get for being on the
Well,
internet talking about dicks.
I love the name of the clips. This one's called Cloud Pretty Mom Give Please.
Oh, the random Twitch names.
Oh my gosh, they're just so good.
you just never know what you're going to get into when you click on that link.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well, RLU, we have you for Fridays because Erica's gonna start. Oh, spoilers! Erica's gonna start streaming on Deadpan on Fridays.
I did technically post that already
Oh,
on the
okay.
Deadpan Twitter the other day.
Did you? I totally
Yeah, I
missed that. My
did.
own Twitter account. I didn't.
Like the next day. This is
That
what
was
you get for
just
giving me
today.
access. I'll promote stuff. Actually, I have an idea. I'm gonna write that down to talk to you about later. Anyways, post-apocalyptic. What better thing to talk about on 4th of July?
So
Right?
let's talk about some of our favorite disaster movies.
Disaster movies. Well, I'm going to start with Independence Day because fuck yeah. Because that was the one that started it all. I remember when that movie came out and it was just like, it was the first movie where everything just got blown up. You know, it was always, it was like the clips of it, the White House got blown up, or this got blown up, and everything got blown up, and it was just like, yes, fuck yeah. so, so yeah, I mean, it is the big one. It's probably the only one I actually kind of like. I don't know. I can't deal with disaster movies very much. They're
Mm.
too. It's too over the top, and it's too. I think because British people are not represented well in disaster movies. I think that's maybe my.
Examples, please.
Well, because it's always like America is saving the day, and whenever they get on the phone and they talk to Britain, they're always like, "Oh my god, how's it going over there, lads?" And they're like, "Oh, righto, about time the Americans came and saved us."
Ugh.
So
All right, that
I'm
was
just like,
involuntary.
right? Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, really, guys, really?
Mm.
But no. But no, there's a few good ones out there. I mean, but yeah, Independence Day, I got to talk to that one. Armageddon,
Most of them are trash. Most of
most of
them
my
are trash.
trash.
I have only seen, I think, like one, like, okay, no, two, like actual disaster movies. I saw Pompeii when I was a kid.
Mm.
Oh, that's not a good thing to watch as a kid. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think I just happened to like come across it, and I was like, it's one of those things where it's like a train wreck, and you just like can't look away. You just like, anyways,
Yeah.
hated that. That was the worst. One of the
Wasn't Kid
worst days of my
Harrington in
life.
that movie?
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The main reason to
I
watch
learned
that
that
movie.
years later. But the other one I've seen,
Oh,
is The
I
Day
just thought.
After Tomorrow,
Hmm.
and looking back on it and, like, looking at a couple of clips, I'm like, this is not great movie." But I was like, I think the reason I liked it was because Jake Gyllenhaal was in it.
That movie was really dumb, like really dumb.
Now that I go back on it, I'm like,
Most of them are.
"This is not
Yeah.
great."
That's kind of there was a part, I don't know if it was that one or 2012, but they were like everyone was freezing and they were all sitting in a library and they're like, "It's so
Yeah,
cold. I wish we had something we could burn."
and they're, like, in a freaking library, like, pick the dictionary and set it on fire.
Yeah.
That
It's
made me
like,
I'm like,
"You
think though, I
just
wanna
deserve to
wanna
die."
ask, like, what's your favorite disaster movie that you think is good, and what's your favorite disaster movie that you know is dog shit, but you still like it?
Oh
Which
god,
Day After Tomorrow for me. Pretty
I
much both.
maybe Armageddon. Armageddon's not that bad though. That's the
Mm.
thing. It's like again, like, oh, who could we possibly get to drill this meteor? Oh, I know, Americans. So, but it's just but it's just the whole like yeah, I don't know. It's just cheesy. They're not supposed to be taken seriously. So,
Yeah.
and it has that song, I think that I don't want to miss a thing, and he's crying, and everyone's crying, and
You mean the chick in the movie's dad's song that he wrote before that
yeah,
movie, but then she got to cry
yeah,
into it. Yeah.
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 Give me a stretch on this because I actually one of my favorite, like, I don't know if it counts as a disaster movie, that's why I'm asking, is Twister. Like, I love Twister.
This is a good
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
love that
Shoot.
movie, but does it count as a disaster movie? It's
yeah.
very,
I
like,
would think so.
localized.
Yeah, it's not really. It's like Perfect Storm. That's not a disaster movie either, but it's kind of in the same.
Bill Paxton, that's who it is.
Yes. I
Yes.
love Twister. I love that movie. It's so perfect. It's got great action, especially if you're someone like me who's like as a kid, you were just obsessed with watching footage of tornadoes.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I would actively chase a tornado if I had a chance.
When I lived in Texas, we had, like, that stuff is so scary to experience because the sky gets, like, a normal storm, it gets really dark and cloudy, but if a tornado's coming, the sky turns green, and
Mm.
Yeah.
watching that, like, form, like, right next to you or your house,
I was at a
I
bus
thought I was
stop
gonna
once and then
die.
the clouds started turning. I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, let's go
No!
inside."
I wanna give Brandy a shout out here. She just posted in the chat saying, "Is Titanic considered a disaster movie?" And it's actually on the list that I'm
It
using
Yeah,
is.
of
it
the
is.
best
It's a
disaster movies.
disaster.
It's ranked number 1 on the list of disaster movies.
I have never seen it. I know everything about it, but I've never seen
I've
it.
seen it a lot.
You don't need to see it then.
I don't I don't like a lot of emotions.
Spoiler, they die in the end.
Yeah,
What?
right.
It's the Titanic.
When you
It's
say
Such a lie.
emotions,
They all live.
so these disaster movies typically don't have emotions.
yeah, everybody
Anyways,
dies.
so I have my bad disaster movie that I love, and it's kind of like it's in that list. It's Dante's Peak and Volcano. They're terrible movies, but I love them. I love Dante's Peak specifically. Like I don't know what it is about that movie that I love. Whereas Volcano is just so dumb, but it's so fun to watch. Especially, I can never get over the scene of that guy who jumps out of the back of the train into lava, and he's, like, melting as he throws a person, and then he does, like, the Terminator, like, melting into the lava, and he's just like, "Ugh," as he's like, "Thumbs up." You know? Yeah, and, like, the best part was, like, they made, the main character, Tommy Lee Jones, so bluntly dumb, where, like, there's a geologist there, and she's like, "Well, there's gonna be magma," and he goes, "Magma? What the hell is magma?" And we're just like,
It's
"Duh."
magma.
Like, you've never heard the word magma
It's a
before.
Pokemon.
Magma.
Come on, who doesn't know
Magma.
that? Noobs.
Noobs.
Disgusting.
Don't get ahead of me,
Godzilla
Brandy.
are all
Don't get ahead of me,
disaster
Brandy.
movies?
Don't get
It's
ahead of
true.
me. I have a whole thing on Godzilla, but I'm gonna stop talking for now and let you ladies take your
I didn't really have anything else.
Okay, you don't have, like, your favorite worst one?
It's all gonna be Day After Tomorrow because it's pretty much the only one I've really ever seen.
I've seen a bunch of these movies, and I honestly can't tell you the difference between them. They all have, like, the exact same frickin'
This
plot.
Yeah, just like a different environment and actors.
Yeah.
I would say The War of the Worlds. I've
Mm.
kind of grown up with that story in many forms. Obviously, the books version, and there was the musical that came out, which is amazing. And then obviously there was the Tom Cruise movie, which is basically every Tom Cruise movie with aliens in it.
It's
Um,
just him running, like
it's just a Tom Cruise movie, the typical. He was really good at something, and then he has a crisis of emotion, and then he needs a beautiful woman to remind him that he's really good at something again, and then he becomes really good at something again.
You're so right.
So, but yeah,
Uh,
the story of War of the Worlds is it's a little dated. I don't think it can be modernized much. It's the whole like aliens come to Earth, they die. It's I don't know. I just
sad.
always grew up with it. But I think that's one of my ones, War of the Worlds.
I saw RLU mentioned War of the Worlds in there, and I was actually thinking about the Tom Cruise one. I did like that
Mm.
movie. I remember enjoying it, but I don't think I've
Yeah,
seen it since it came out.
yeah, they did a good
Never
job.
rewatch movies that long ago you thought were good.
Oh yeah,
True.
yeah,
Keep the delusion. Keep it.
yeah.
It's like
Because
never
most of the
never
time I
meet
go
your
back and watch it,
heroes.
like I love this movie, and then I'm watching it like, wow,
I did that with the Hulk not long like 2 or 3 years ago,
the Edward Norton
and I
one.
was like, yeah, they were normal, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the slowest movie I've ever seen."
See, now I watched that movie 2 years ago with Brandy because we were going through the MCU movies, and she had never seen that
Yeah,
one, I don't think. And I remember watching it and being like,
it
"This
is
still
important to
this still
watch.
kinda holds up." Like, it's not
Yeah.
great, but it's got its points.
Yeah, it does have some good points.
But before we devolve into an MCU discussion here,
I
because
was
that's
gonna say.
absolutely where this
Yeah,
is
cut
gonna
that
go,
shit off.
I also wanted to mention Godzilla because I, of course, am a massive Godzilla fan. Brandy said it earlier, what about Godzilla movies being disaster movies? Not all of them. Some of them, yes,
Hold them.
especially the really serious ones. The original Godzilla from 1955, Godzilla 1985 would kind of count as that. But also, I wanted to mention Shin Godzilla, which was the kind of reboot movie done by the guy who made Evangelion. It's very dark, it's very twisted, but it also is similar to the first movie where it kind of shines a mirror on what people did wrong in a real life situation, because the first movie was about the atomic bomb and how that kind of fucked up the world. Shin Godzilla was talking about it's a direct reflection of what happened in Japan after they got hit by the 2011 tsunami, and the government had nothing in place to properly handle it. And Shin Godzilla is very political. There's a lot of scenes of politicians trying to figure out what to do about this monster that's appearing on their land and destroying shit and killing people. And they just have no clue on how to process everything.
Shin Godzilla.
He's terrifying, by the way. It's easily one of the scariest Godzillas out there because he's really crazy and gnarly looking, and he's got this super atomic breath that just slices through everything, and he kills the president of Japan.
And his eyes are freaky
Super
deaky.
beady. Yeah, I love Shin Godzilla. It's terrifying, but it's really intense and dramatic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most like grotesque, like over the top Godzilla movies.
Someone made Shin Godzilla in Minecraft, and that looks
Oh, of
pretty dope and
course,
accurate. His tail
I'm
looks like a
sure.
dildo, though. I'm gonna.
Because why not?
Hey, we got a new follower. Thank you, the lone Chris. Nice.
Hi.
Awesome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Are they here? Anyways, do we got any other thoughts on disaster movies?
I mean,
I
there's a
have
lot of
more.
post-apocalyptic movies as well, you
True,
know?
true.
It's not just a disaster, you got, like if you wanna get really depressing, you got The Road, and, and you got, like, was it, some Children of Men? There's
Like the
always
Book
this
of
stuff.
Eli? That's a good
Yeah,
one.
Book of Eli, Mad Max.
Oh, yeah, all the Mad Max. I
Yeah,
love Mad Max. That's one of my favorite movies, the
Of
newer one,
Eli had
Fury Road.
Denzel Washington, right?
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, I was, RLU trying to get a Discord shout in the commands? I have to set that up, but there should be a link in our bio to get into the
Yes.
Discord.
Yes.
Waterworld. I don't know why
Yeah,
that's funny, but yeah, absolutely. Waterworld is like a
What a world.
post-apocalyptic
I like
With
how
movie.
red
you're
feet.
ignoring my Avengers comment,
What?
unless you hadn't seen it.
I did not see it.
I said, "Does Avengers qualify as a disaster movie? Because Alien Invasion."
Does Alien Invasion qualify as a
And
disaster
have you
movie?
seen the disaster that everything
Well, I mean,
causes?
Independence Day was an alien invasion,
Yeah,
so
true. That one,
yeah.
yeah.
So we can talk Marvel. Sweet. Okay. I'm just
No,
kidding.
shut up,
Alright.
Erica. I swear.
I'm just gonna mute my mic. We're just gonna
I'll just talk for an hour
We're
straight.
just gonna end this cast right now because
but
no
I'm cool with
MCU.
talking about some of, like, the post-apocalyptic movies because there's definitely a lot of good ones out there for that, and again, like, Mad Max Fury Road is definitely one of my favorites, but that's also one of those movies that gives you no context as to why the world is completely screwed.
Oh, I hate
As far as you're
that.
concerned, that it might not even be completely screwed. It's just people got lost in Australia and just had to
Could be,
make their
yeah.
own life.
It's just a bunch of crazy people in the middle of Australia.
They're just like, we can't find our way back, so we just made this feral community.
This feral community.
That could absolutely be it.
And then
I
at the
liked
end of the
Waterworld, though.
series,
I gotta defend
maybe
that. I like
I'm
Waterworld.
looking up Waterworld
it
right
was
now.
wasn't there like the Postman as well, which was like really
Oh,
bad.
yeah. Another Kevin Costner movie.
Mm,
Anytime someone says Postman, I think of that TV
Oh,
show, Postman
Postman.
Pat.
So, Death
Postman,
Stranding, which I'll talk about later, because
Postman.
the Postman is Death Stranding pretty
basically.
much to the T.
Yeah.
It's just the Death Stranding is much more technological and fancy. Anyways,
Yes.
now that I'm thinking, like, what are other good, like, post-apocalyptic movies that I've always liked? And I know there's a bunch of them, but I just brain
There's
farting right now.
actually if you it's a book, but they did make a movie of it, and if you might like this, Erica, because you're a fan of The Last of Us. The
Mm,
Girl with All the Gifts is
Oh, with all
basically
the
The Last of
gifts.
Us.
okay.
It's yeah, it's a kind of independent movie, and it's about a girl who they're living in a society where there's a disease and she can't get the disease, she's immune from it. It basically is The Last of Us.
What's The
I
Road? I
avoided
thought The
COVID
Road
for
was
the
something
second time.
that I thought The
Mm.
Last of Us was based on The Road or
It might have been, yeah, but
something
the
along
book
those
for
lines.
the I think The Girl with All the Gifts was written before The Last of
Why is
Us,
her mouth all bloody?
and yeah. Yeah, they have to wear these face masks, 'cause otherwise they'll, like, eat people and stuff. Yeah,
Mm.
it's a really good book and a movie if you haven't seen it. See?
Yeah, it's
I think
I'll
just
it's a British
watch it.
movie, actually.
mm,
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Oh,
The
28
the
Days
lot of
Later.
British humor.
that's a good one, yeah.
'Cause I
28
love
Yeah,
Days
British
Later.
humor.
yeah, all
That was
those
another one of my favorite, like,
Yeah.
zombie movies.
and
You get
also Shaun of the Dead is the most accurate zombie movie of all time.
How
I'm
did
just
I
gonna put
forget
that
about
out
that
there.
series? I
Shaun of the
love
Dead is
those
so good.
movies so much.
I talking about
Oh,
just, like, the
the
Simon Pegg movies.
Yeah, I just had my husband watch all 3 of them,
Nice.
and so freaking good.
So good.
Shame. That's that's the best.
I loved Shaun of the Dead. I remember seeing that in the theaters.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It was one of those movies that, like, I'd hang out with my friends and get high and watch and laugh stupidly.
Such a good movie, though.
Yeah.
That's like a great idea.
It is the most realistic zombie movie of all time because that is exactly how it will go down. People will just laugh and be like, "There's a zombie in the living room."
And, like, the whacking them with the wreckers and stuff,
Yeah,
and
like throw the records at 'em and
I
stuff, and then it'll
still
be
love
like
I get so pumped and hyped watching that movie and the scene when they're beating the bartender to Queen, and it's just like,
Oh my
like they're
gosh,
beating him in
yes.
time to the music.
They're just
So
those are
good.
such classic movies.
go to the pub and let it all blow over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's talk about games.
Okay. You're like,
Okay,
"I'm done with this. Let's go."
so The
Game.
Last of Us.
Yeah.
I've talked about The Last enough. We know
Yeah.
that's a perfect game. We're moving on.
I mean, it's probably the best post-apocalyptic game there is.
What about
Yeah,
disaster games, though?
Disaster games.
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
Mhm.
that's a good point.
There really
Fallout.
isn't many disaster games. Fallout's still post-apocalyptic, though.
Yeah, is there actually any actual disaster games though?
There
Yeah.
are. There
Yes.
is a series of games called Disaster Report. They're
Mhm.
all rubbish. From every review I've read, they're all dog shit. Um, they're
I
not
started
fun.
playing one. I started
I
playing
know
a game
Erica was
today.
looking at one, and
Yes. Oh.
actually, it came out in 2011.
That's
I don't
oh,
remember a thing from that game, but it actually takes place during a disaster, and you're trying to survive
you're
escaping
starting
this.
to uh start skippy like you're lagging.
Yeah,
I
Dan's having
don't
the
hear
lag.
nothing.
Yeah.
Uh
Uh-oh.
oh.
Uh-oh.
Like we can
Dan's having a
kind of hear you, but can't
Yeah,
see
I
it
see
very well.
the stream is lagging a bit.
Yeah,
We'll give it a second.
let's continue. They're working on it. We're working on it. Something's happening. Keep talking.
No, I mean, I'm
Keep
letting it it's
talking.
better to just let it reload and It's back? Okay.
There we go.
It
I think
looks like
so.
it's better. Okay. Where were we?
It looks okay, there we go.
Mhm.
We had our own little disaster for a second then.
Yeah, we both have our own
Oh,
disaster movie. No.
I love it.
If anything, it's my weird internet that likes to just drop for some reason. But anyways, disaster
So
game.
Fallout.
Okay.
I think it can qualify as both if I remember correctly because it was like a nuclear bomb or something like that. So that could
Nuclear
qualify as a
fallout.
disaster and then it falls into post-apocalyptic. So it kind of starts off as one, ends as another.
True, especially if you were
True.
watching like the beginning of Fallout 4 actually starts with you living the events of the nuclear explosion,
That's the one I've played.
and then it like fast forwards to whatever years later that you're waking up or coming out of the bunker and then
Yeah.
living in this post-apocalyptic world. The Fallout I played the most was 3.
That's the
And
one I
it
played, yeah.
yeah. And then again in 3 you can actually cause a nuclear explosion and create your own natural
Megaton.
you can create it. I love that.
I only felt a little
Okay.
bad about that. Yeah.
What was
Mm,
Jake Brown? What was his favorite Fallout? Was it New Vegas?
I think
He
so.
loved that
Yeah.
Yes,
one.
he loved New Vegas. That was the one I've only played a teeny tiny little bit of that one.
Yeah. I haven't played any of that one, but his enthusiasm makes me want to play.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
had it
that's good.
installed and I gotta play that one of these. I gotta play that one of these. Maybe if I had a reason to sit here and play a long video game for hours on end.
I love doing that. That's my pastime. Other than binging Westworld.
Westworld. It's
No.
kind of post-apocalyptic a little bit,
It's leaning towards that so far. I'm
right?
like
I've only seen the
almost
first season of
mid-season 2.
Westworld.
I
Ooh,
mean, for the movie was kind of a post-apocalyptic. It was like they want goes
that's what
into
I've heard.
simulation because they're trying to get away from the real world type thing.
You know what that makes
Mhm.
me think of is Cowboys versus Aliens, which is a great movie. It sounds dumb, but it's
With
really
Daniel
good.
Craig.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that movie. I remember that being
so
tons of
good.
fun.
It's so good. You know who
Yeah.
made that movie? Who directed that movie?
Who was it?
John Favreau.
That's why it
Oh,
was so
there you
good.
go.
It's Jon Favreau.
Yeah,
What
that
a
beautiful
what a
great.
what a beautiful boy.
It's
I
such a
Beautiful
love
man.
stupid idea, but it worked. Like, it was a great movie. It was really fun. Uh, Back to
Yeah.
video games, right? So,
Yes.
what are some of our favorite disasters slash post-apocalyptic video games?
Metro.
Metro. I've only played one of them. I
I
I've
have
never
really
played
3
liked
of
it.
them,
Metro.
but I haven't played them all.
Yeah, I think it's kind of for me. I think the reason why it clicked is because I grew up in London, so the idea of living in the subway is a very real thing.
Mm,
Because the whole thing of the idea of metro is they live in the train stations underneath the cities, and so you're walking around. And if you've ever been to an underground, I mean, Dan, you've lived in New York. I'm sure you've been to undergrounds quite a lot. Like it's creepy as fuck. Like in these little
Well,
train stations and stuff.
I didn't spend much time in the city,
Oh,
if that's
okay.
what you're getting at,
Oh,
no.
yeah, yeah. Well, like the train tunnels and stuff, and so they'd walk around in these train tunnels and stuff, and then when you come outside, the whole place is just destroyed, and you're walking around with gas masks on and stuff, and it's very
Yeah.
Fallout.
I still
I really
very
liked it.
well I remember the opening scenes of the first Metro game really well
Yeah,
when you do that, where you actually come up above ground and you have to wear your gas mask and you have to, like, change out the filter,
yeah,
and then you start seeing, like, the giant mutated monsters, and you're
yeah.
like, "What the fuck is this?" And then you go back underground, and then it becomes this stealth game of sneaking around humans and, like, stabbing
It's
them, but then you
yeah,
go
like
back above ground and there's monsters and it's run and gun and you're like, "Ah!"
yeah, it's like pitch black,
I
yeah.
yeah, I have a hard time with some stealth games sometimes because it's just it's so scary when it tells you like you have to be still, you can't be seen. I'm like, but I want to just Leroy Jenkins this and just pew pew pew.
Yeah.
Pew, pew,
You're
pew,
not
no.
James
Yeah,
Bond. Sorry.
I'm not, but I want to be.
I want to be.
So,
Yeah.
Maria said Metro. What about you, Erica? Are you gonna actually stick with Last of Us to start
I
us?
of course I'm gonna stick with The Last of
I
Us,
mean,
but
go I would say Last of Us, but I was trying to be different.
Yeah.
try to be different.
Try.
Um, Another one that I started playing today is called A New Beginning. It's
Mm,
on Steam for like 99 cents. And I was like, "Ah, we're researching this stuff, might as well play it." So far it's like it's really good story. It's about like preventing climate change. So you just people from 500 years in the future travel back to get somebody who's a specialist in climate change who's kind of like given up, thinking like, I can't save the world. It's just nothing's gonna work. If I clean out this lake, it'll be just as dirty
Mhm.
in a week. And the only thing that's thrown me off with that game is the voice acting. It sounds like they've recorded, like, one word at a time. It's almost like on TikToks where it has, like, those automated voices almost like
Oh, nice.
conversing with each other. That's exactly what it's sounding like, and I'm like, "I love this story, but I'm having a real hard time."
With the
We're
dialogue.
pretty we're
Yeah,
pretty picky with our voice actors. We're just
we
kinda like, "You need to get
really
that shit."
are.
Yeah, you need to get that shit on board.
Yeah, some
Um,
bad voice acting can ruin an
yeah,
experience pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
So it's trying to
yeah,
kind of ruin the experience, but I'm like, "Oh, I like this story, though. I wanna see if we
yeah.
do it.
A game
Save the
I
world."
was, Days Gone. I really enjoyed that one.
Days
Driving
Gone.
around in your little motorcycle and
Yeah.
just like yeah, I was actually enjoying that the story's a bit weird, it's not really my sort of
Oh,
thing,
this
but just the
one.
fact that you can go around and stuff and get off your
The
little bike
gameplay is
and
super fun in Days Gone, I'll give
yeah.
it that. Yeah.
Then the motorcycle has the worst gas mileage of any Harley I've ever seen.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, but the fact that you can go to different towns and stuff is really cool. It's kind of like it's like The Last of Us, but like open world. Real Life Unicorn said Horizon Zero Dawn is a
Yeah,
post-apocalyptic
it
game
is.
as well. Yeah.
I was gonna give him a shout out for that too.
I
Mm,
I actually that's my
never played
favorite
that.
part of Horizon Zero Dawn is the actual backstory of
yeah.
what happened to cause the events of those games. Because I don't particularly like Horizon Zero Dawn too much. It was a fun game. I finally beat it, but what got me was all of the story, the
Yeah.
backstory that you learn at the end of the game. And I
Yeah,
was like,
I that's actually what I'm struggling with because I'm, like, going through the game, and I'm like, I feel like everything is just out of reach, and I'm, like, really struggling to finish it.
It's a long game.
the
It's a
first
big
one or the
game.
second one?
The second one.
Yeah, I barely touched the second one. The second one definitely feels better. I like the gameplay a lot better.
Yes.
But the first game I struggled with. The first game I had a really hard time getting through. And my
Yeah.
favorite bits of the story were just like I wasn't getting enough of it. And like I basically got to a point where I was just
Craving
fast
more.
traveling
Yeah.
constantly. I just always fast traveling. Had to.
That's the first thing I did actually in the second game, was I got to as many fast travel spots as I could before I really did, like, anything. So I was like, "I'm gonna need these. This is a huge world." The superpower I want is teleportation.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I want.
Let's see. I got a little short list of some of the
Does
games
Elden Ring
I
count?
really like. Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Post-apocalyptic?
I don't know because I don't remember there being any context in that game where this is taking place in a
That's true. I guess it's
world.
more of like a purgatory state.
Yeah, possibly.
I guess we technically at the end, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, we kinda destroy everything.
Hmm.
Is that
That sounds
what we
about right
always
for
do?
a
Yeah.
FromSoft
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have Elden Ring on the brain. My brother is thinking about getting it, and I'm like, "Yes!" Very excited about it.
I was gonna mention though, I the Mad Max game that came out in 2015,
Mhm.
super fun. The game was developed by WB. I don't think it wasn't Rocksteady, but they used this a
By
lot of the
Warner
same.
Brothers?
Yeah, I think so. I forget which studio.
I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
it's the team who did Just Cause, Avalanche,
Oh,
Hmm.
and it was published by WB, but it uses a similar combat system to the Batman games as far as how you do the melee combat. But it's also got car combat like Twisted Metal, and you're driving around these open desert landscapes and just blowing the fuck out of other raiders and stuff on the in the desert landscapes. And then the combat also has weapons in it, so you pick up like a shotgun, and then you're doing these cool executions where you're like blowing dudes' heads off with a shotgun. Super fun, completely mindless, good dumb time. Highly recommend.
sometimes
Nice.
you just really need those after a long day of work.
You do. You need to kill people,
Mhm.
like, really
In video
violently.
I need
games,
to
let's
blast people.
clarify.
Oh, in video games, that's what we're saying. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Sometimes you just gotta smack a bitch. Sorry.
It's
We've been
true.
down there plenty of times. Like, all right, I need to
Mhm.
murder some people tonight. Who's with me? Who wants to go on a murder spree?
I guess technically any game can be post-apocalyptic if it doesn't give you a context. Like
Dead by
BioShock
Daylight?
could be I mean,
BioShock
BioShock is
totally could be.
yeah, you know?
I'll
Oh,
jump in
yeah.
here before Brandy does her My Time at Portia. That's actually a
Hmm?
post-apocalyptic game. Like, the whole
I
premise
haven't
is
heard of that one.
these are people trying to restart life after an apocalypse,
Animal
essentially.
Crossing as well.
Is
It's,
it?
a nuclear bomb that happened, and the little cute family, they're mutants from the radiation. They've grown
Mm.
ears and stuff, so they're going into an island, and they have to do
Oh.
their own community. Yeah, they're all got radiation and stuff and
And we're
cancer
the
and
only human, so we're immune to whatever happened.
yeah, but that's what they are. That's why the fish are really massive, and, that's
Mm.
stuff because it's post-apocalyptic. New
Speaking
Right.
Horizons, that's why it's called the New Horizon because you're building the brand new world.
So everyone, welcome. Just come join me on Friday when I play the post-apocalyptic game of the season, Animal
Animal
Crossing: New
Crossing.
Horizons.
You get a brave new world.
A brand
Um,
new world.
Shout out to RLU. I see, like, I assume they're talking about, Mad Max, where they said they were on their first playthrough, and I hit a game-breaking bug where I couldn't continue the story, but it's 100% mindless destruction and so fun. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, it is. And
I
Rage.
also was
Yeah,
gonna
so Rage, yeah.
mention Gears of War.
Gears of War,
Yeah,
yep.
that's true.
Absolutely love Gears of War. Gears of War is very much like a post-apocalyptic kind of world disaster. It's kind of both, actually, because it starts with a war amongst humans living on another planet. It's not Earth, it's a planet called Sarah. And there's a different factions of humans battling this world war. And then they get hit by this attack of a whole different species called locust that basically turns the war around against the locust, and it turns them into this almost post-apocalyptic setting after a big disaster. And not to mention, it's one of the craziest stories out there. I love Gears of War. It's so good
That's
because,
one
It's,
people love, and I still have yet to play.
well, when you
I
finish Halo.
I played,
Oh yeah,
a Happy Few a little while ago.
Oh, I've never actually played that one.
Such a strange, it's very 1984.
Mhm.
Like, because they have these, the world is basically gone to shit, and they take these drugs to make them see happy things. So everybody's super duper happy, but they're walking around. You don't take your drug, and so you start seeing like the realities of the horrors of the world. And
Mm,
apparently, like I think you're in like a World War II kind of situation. So there's like Nazis and stuff around. So like really, really bad things are happening. Like they're killing kids and stuff, but you're blind to it because you're taking these drugs. And so it's a
yeah.
weird, very weird game. But
I
yeah, I played
remember
it for a little while.
I
the
blanked out for a second. Are you talking about We Happy Few?
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought.
yeah,
yeah, I remember the previews for that game when they first showed off, and I was like, "This looks trippy as hell. I can't wait to
yeah,
play it." And then
it
I
is.
never got around to playing it.
I played like maybe the first third of the game, and then I kind of just it just kind of died away.
Hmm.
Yeah, I haven't completed it. I
I didn't
played like the
feel
first part.
the like drive to continue.
Mm,
It was kind of maybe it was
that's
just
me
me,
with
but
life.
I had a
I'm
hard
just
time.
Just life, just giving up.
I just lose the will to live.
I've lost the will to live.
So, in an effort to be a little bit better prepared for this tonight, I also decided that it's time I finally play Death Stranding. So I
You
booted up
finally
Death
gonna play it?
Stranding for the
The
first
reader's
time today.
penis.
Oh
Oh,
gosh.
Rebus penis?
the reader's penis.
Why? What's with you on penises tonight, Maria?
Someone's
I
story.
I
Penises on the brain. Anywho, I've been apprehensive to play Death Stranding because first of all, I love Hideo Kojima. I love every game I've ever played of his. But from everything I saw with Death Stranding, I'm like, this just looks like a walking simulator plus seeing a bunch of Norman Reedus naked. Hence,
Reader's penis.
yes. So
stop.
I finally booted it up today. I downloaded in the director's cut version on
Oh,
the
good.
PlayStation 5 because it was available through that PlayStation Premium thing that I
Yeah.
have. And I played about the first hour through the prologue, essentially. And it was what, maybe 40 minutes of watching cutscenes and 20 minutes of actually playing, which is typical Hideo Kojima. No complaints there. But I was actually like, wow, this looks really good. Like, holy crap, these environments look really good. Why doesn't Horizon look this good? It's made in the same engine.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Like
Anyways,
Yeah.
Death Stranding.
It's such a
I
beautiful game.
was really digging the horror vibes that I was getting from that first hour or so. I was like,
It it continues
okay,
to get
this is real
better.
creepy. This is pretty creepy. I like it. I dig it. Just the typical, like, very Hideo Kojima, like, shots, the way the camera's angled, the way it moves, the way you follow through the scene. It's all very Hideo Kojima, and I
Mhm.
know nothing about the context of the setting, whereas, like, okay, I'm a guy, I've got boxes, we're in the middle of nowhere, and there's these invisible things and this rain that makes you age to death, and I
I'm
don't
so
know
excited
why.
for you to finish the game.
And there's a baby.
We'll see if I actually
I
finish.
hope you do because the story really
Mhm.
well pays off.
And I've heard the story is really good. I've heard there's a
It's
lot
super good.
to enjoy there, and again, I have faith in Hideo Kojima and his ability to tell a story.
Troy
I'm
Baker's a
already
good
kind of
villain.
like, "Hmm?
Troy Baker's a good
Oh,
villain.
I know that."
That's
Mhm.
I mean, not just IRL, but also in a video game.
Terrible person.
Wow. Don't go down that road. That's a post-apocalyptic road.
It's a post-apocalyptic conversation.
Don't hurt yourself, kid.
But I
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that actually got me thinking, like, is it worth it for me to how long is Death Stranding? I think I heard the average playthrough is what, 40 hours? I
Something
think?
like that, yeah.
Pretty long.
Like,
That's
I think
long.
it especially if you are going to do, like, a bunch of, like, side things, it can take a it can take a bit, but some of them are pretty worth it. They feel pretty different from each
Mm.
other, which is nice.
So, like, again, I'm into, like, the horror vibes. I was finding even the walking around was like, okay, I kinda see the draw here about, like, it's a challenge to walk around the environment and pacing yourself and not overloading Sam with too much stuff. I'm curious to know what happened as far as, like, why the world is the way it is. They only give you the tiniest little taste in that first hour or so of what's going on where, like, the one guy you meet is talking about life before when stuff was normal, and it's like, okay, so this is fairly recent. It's only been in the last, I'm assuming, 30 years maybe,
Something like that, yeah.
and, well, Jake's throwing out numbers out there. I don't know if he's just bullshitting me at this point. I don't
Yeah.
trust anything Jake says. Think
Yeah,
him
don't
over.
trust those numbers.
8,000
But that's
hours with side
it's
quests.
it's more got me wondering if it's worth it for me to try to stream it, but one thing I do wanna try and do is actually have Brandy stream that first hour because I just wanna see her make, like, a bunch of, like, "What the fuck?" faces, because she
I
will.
remember the opening being pretty good. Like I watched it and stuff, but then it was a lot of walking and a lot of walking to the same places back and forth, and I'm like, oh come on.
Mm,
Um, but it's yeah. I mean, I'm not very patient, with people with games. I don't want to play 25 hours to go. Oh, that was what it was about.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of Maria's weird obsession, with penises tonight, so
oh,
in the game,
Oh, that.
if you look at him down there too long, he, like, covers himself and he's like, "What are you doing?" It's so funny, like,
I'm sorry.
even if
If
you're
you
just, like,
just
staring at him or, like, looking at him, he's just like, "Go away. What are you
that's
doing?"
very
Like, breaking the fourth wall.
that's Hideo Kojima in a nutshell. He puts
It's
f he
so
he puts fourth
funny.
wall breaks in all of his games,
It's
every
so
one of
great.
them.
Well, how
Like,
are
Oh,
you
I
not
remember
going to look at naked Rita's penis though? If it comes up,
do
it's
you
just
actually see, like, CG penis?
no.
Okay,
I think you get a little bit of his butt in the shower,
yeah.
but it's mostly covered by steam, so you really don't get
Again,
much.
Hideo Kojima's been doing that with, like, Metal Gear from the
That's
get-go.
true.
Like, you saw
mm.
naked people in Metal Gear from the beginning, and then they
He's
had,
just
like
walking around without
they
clothes.
were very liberal with, like, just blurring, like, they were completely naked,
Yeah,
but then there was that little subtle blur over the butt or the
I love
boobs
those
or
things.
something.
They just make me laugh.
I remember playing Metal Gear Solid 2 as a teenager, and there was a point where you could look at a poster of, like, a girl in a bikini, and if you look at it long enough, you get a call from one of your guys like, "What are you doing, Snake? You have a mission to go on. You don't have time to be looking at this girl in a
That's
bikini."
amazing.
It's so good.
Think straight, you don't. Get on with the mission.
Yeah, like, stop
That's
it.
so funny.
I wondered where that story was going then, Dan. I was like, I thought you was like, I paused it.
No. I
I
remember
need me pixels.
Jake, clip that right now. That
the
needs to be on the internet for shame.
Uh,
Anyways, that is an
anyways,
excellent game, and the story super pays off. It's well worth it. Even if you don't finish it, go and watch maybe like a gameplay of it, so you get the rest of it. It's
yeah,
well
if
worth
I
it.
can, I can try
Yeah.
to do that. but
Yeah, it's well
it's
worth it.
definitely got me intrigued, and I'm gonna try to play some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that can encourage me to get through a game like that is helpful, especially when my attention span is distracted in a million different directions at once. So that's my biggest struggle is I'm trying to play 2 dozen games at a time,
Mhm.
and I can't focus on one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's why I fell off a Days Gone because I'm like, I put like 50 hours in that game, and I'm like, it doesn't end. Just
Yeah.
let it end.
Yeah.
Right,
Too
it's
many
like I
side
wanna get
quests.
to a satisfying story end and then kinda just do my thing
Yeah.
after.
And that was also one of my issues with Last of Us 2 is it felt too long.
There were,
Like,
like, almost, like, 2 endings.
yeah.
Well, 1, 2 so technically there were 3 and 2 fake outs.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and
yeah,
that
I felt
irritated
that.
me a lot.
I can tell.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Still a good game, but it irritated me.
Can't wait for the remake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remake.
Uh-huh.
I'm just kidding. Go listen to our past podcast about that.
Was
Or was it this
what?
podcast?
That was a different podcast.
That was a
Never
different
mind, it was
podcast.
a different
That
podcast.
was the Replayer podcast.
Yes,
Whole
that's what it
separate
Replayer.
was.
channel,
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
whole separate
bad.
thing. But if you wanna go
Wrong
listen to
one.
that conversation, you can go check out the Replayer podcast.
Yeah, it's
Same people,
great.
same faces,
It's true.
different branding.
Yeah.
We do
Basically
a
the
lot
same
of stuff.
conversations.
Same shit, different pile.
Yeah.
It's so accurate. Oh my
Just
gosh.
I'm sorry.
I
call
hate
everything
it,
we do a pile of
but
shit.
I love it. Because why not? I love
Cyberpunk,
it.
talking of shit, Cyberpunk is a
Cyberpunk.
I'm
dystopian
trying to think of
game.
what other games that
Is
I've
it?
played lately that could be
It's in the future.
Push to
I guess
picture.
it's not I guess it's not apocalyptic, is it? No. It
Sometimes
does have a
I
wang
mouth
slider.
stroke. Um,
Post-apocalyptic games.
Post-apocalyptic.
Is
That's how
Resident
I can
Evil
say it with
count?
a British accent.
Oh, post-apocalyptic. The bloody
Post
Americans are saving the
The
day.
bloody Americans are saving the day.
Thank
Oh,
God I
damn
saved
Hurrah!
right.
you. The
Damn
Americans
right.
And
show
they
up
brought hot dogs and burgers.
like, "You're welcome. Thank God I saved you."
Oh, I
Speaking
don't
of
know what we would have done without Mary Poppins over here.
or Doctor Who. I always find it I'm waiting for like a movie, like a disaster movie or post-apocalyptic something to be in somewhere that's
Makes me
not
feel better.
London, you know, Shanghai, like a major city. I want something to happen to like a minor city that like nobody's ever heard about and it just spreads.
I feel
That's
like
what
there's
I
been
want.
movies like that
I'm
before.
sure there's, but yeah, I'm
I
sure
want to
there's
know
like
what they
some
are
small
because I
little
think that would be
town.
fun.
Yeah.
What was well, like, look at, maybe A Quiet Place. That's all
Yeah.
very central to, like, a small location. That actually takes
It's
place
true.
that movie was filmed in a location in a town near where I grew up in upstate rural New York.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like,
I'm
I
really
remember
excited for the prequel movie because
I
I've
still haven't seen
that
the
whole
second one.
time I was like, I want to know what happened, how this all started.
Speaking of A Quiet Place, that was something that I thought about when I was playing Death Stranding. I was like, "This kinda reminds me of A Quiet
Oh,
Place."
you're kind of right because there's that sneaky aspect to
Well,
it.
because they're all like, "Shush, shush, be quiet, don't make
Yeah,
a sound," and then the monster's
the
footsteps are
hands will
plopping
come to you.
around you,
Yeah.
and it's like, "Why they gotta be quiet?"
I always thought wondered with a Quiet Place. I remember in the first movie, he took him to like the kid to like a waterfall or something to so he could talk to the kids and the monsters wouldn't hear or something. There was some weird thing that he took the kid out. Like, why don't you just move to a waterfall? And then that way you wouldn't have to be quiet all the time.
That's what me and my husband were saying that entire movie. Like, go somewhere where there's actually like
Like
noise,
noise,
and you
yeah.
can
And like,
talk
why are
like
you in a
normal.
why are you in a farmhouse in the middle of Buckfuck County? Where
And
there's
you
nothing
have to give birth in silence.
Yeah,
That's
there's
the
a
dumbest thing I've
fucking
ever heard.
waterfall.
Go
Oh,
to the
people with
waterfall.
you all deserve to die. You're
Now
idiots.
you're just tearing this movie apart.
I still love the movie. Like, it is
It's a good movie.
freaking fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is
So
a good
good.
movie. But there's just times, but like it's like any like even horror movies that you're just like, why are you doing that?
Well, that's usually the case. That's for disaster movies, that's for horror movies. It's always people just
Yeah,
being really dumb,
yeah,
and it's like, "Why are you doing that?"
Like,
there's always like, that's why I can't stand, like, slasher flicks, because
yeah,
there's
yes.
always that point in a slasher flick where a woman, whoever it's usually a woman because that's the case
Mhm.
with all these movies, they
They're
always
we're
run
ditzy.
upstairs, and it's like,
yeah.
"Where are you going?
That
How are you
was
gonna escape?
that was my issue with so if you don't wanna know anything about the quarry beginning part.
Oh, I'm sure it's tropey, trope.
Oh, it is, because the very first thing is like, oh, yeah, she's like, "I hear something. I think somebody's out there." And I'm like, "No, we're not going out there." But no matter what you choose, it makes you go out into the forest and search things. And I'm like, "Stupid white people."
Yeah,
Or
Like,
it's
that's
all
exactly.
the
so
dumb white
dumb.
people. There's always that really bad trope too of like the boyfriend girlfriend couple making out, and then there's a
Yeah.
noise, and the girlfriend goes, "What's that noise?" And the boyfriend's like, "It's fine," and she
I've
goes,
got it.
"No,
I'll
I'm
go
scared."
look.
And then he goes,
Drive
"Okay,
away.
I'll go check," and he goes outside, and it's like, why would you do that?
Why
Like
would
I
you
would never do that.
I mean, who's ever
what?
been really in the mood to get it on when someone's about to kill you? I mean, have
Yeah,
you
I
ever
don't know.
been in a situation where someone's tried to murder you and you're
It
like, "You know
could
what?
be a
I
turn
feel
on
really
for
I mean,
I'm
just
kind
the
of
other day.
just
It
someone's
just
about to
happens
murder
way
me.
more
Let's get it
often
on."
than you think.
It might be the only way he can get hard, so
Maybe.
Uh,
Ugh.
the
talking
thrill of
about
it.
penises again. Why are we talking about
Why are
penises
we
so much?
doing this?
Maria, damn it.
This
Patrick
is
is gonna
the
be
Dead
You want me to
Peanuts
bring in
podcast.
daddy again?
Oh, daddy.
Daddy.
Oh,
Patrick's gonna
daddy.
be, like, coming back like that gif of the guy, like, walking in
In
on
the
the
forest.
fire, and it's like, from
We were
Community.
talking about movies. We started talking about penises. I'm sorry.
You threw the penis
Uh,
joke out there right from the top, though. There
Do you
was
expect anything but
a
more
that's
from
little
me?
okay.
bit, a little bit, maybe.
Just a little bit. That's what she said.
Yeah, okay, this is the disaster movie right here talking about.
See, there we
That
go.
that is the course of our everybody's a disaster at one point. Just accept it. Mine has
We're
been
True.
going on for 29 years and it's okay.
all
I'm
a
just kidding.
disaster.
Embrace the chaos.
Yep.
That's us.
Unless anyone has anything super vital to communicate beyond penises, I think now might be a good time to wrap this episode of the podcast up. Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Talking about
Happy
penises, women deserve
Independence.
to own their own bodies.
Yes. You can still
Um,
donate to our charity. That's still going, but
that's true. It is still live.
it's technically still
Um,
going.
yeah. I think I put it on D5's link tree too. Might as well just
Mm,
keep it there.
Yeah,
Because
donate,
the
support.
issue is not gonna stop until change is made. Simple as
yeah.
that.
Yeah. The whole situation is ridiculous. And I'm happy to have lovely ladies on our team to share and be a part of the process of equal everything,
Well,
the
everything.
whole equal everything for sure, because
Well, thanks.
it's so ridiculous. I'm not going to go down this road. We've done a
Yeah.
whole stream about
We've
this.
done a whole stream about it, but our
Not going.
feelings are very strong about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was
But
fun
don't.
talking about like all this stuff because I learned like especially with the girl with all the gifts. Like I'm gonna go find that and I'm gonna watch it because that
Mhm.
sounds amazing.
It's a book as well.
Oh, I don't
It's
like
a
reading
book,
books. I get too
and it's an
distracted.
independent. It's an independent movie, so it's one of those kind of smaller,
I
one
love
gritty
those.
movies. Yeah, it's really good.
Those really are can be just so special.
Like
Very
Little Miss
much like 28
Sunshine.
Days Later.
Ooh. I'm
Mm,
enjoying this the more I hear about it.
mm, yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna go watch it.
Nice. And I shall attempt to play more Death Stranding
Yes.
eventually.
I think
And
that'd be
then I
great
can
because
upload it.
I'm excited to have like your reactions as you go through it.
Again, that's why it's like, should I be trying to record it? Should I be streaming it?
I
Like,
think that would be a fun series to stream, honestly.
hmm,
I think that would be loads of fun. I'd watch that.
you
Those are my
say
favorite
that.
streams is gameplays. Those are
Well,
my
that's what I
favorite.
do. That's normally what I'm
Yeah,
That's
doing.
what
but
we do.
on some of your stuff you stream during the day and I'm like, I have meetings.
That's the only time I can stream unless
That's a
I'm
good
streaming
point.
for Deadpan for the most part.
That's true. Put it on
So,
Deadpan.
yeah, fair.
Bring it over.
I don't know how to bring this home, so I'm just going to jump right into it and say I think this has been a disastrous conversation about disaster movies and games, but it's been fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Erica.
Look forward to having Patrick on next time.
We'll have Patrick back next week or the week
Patrick's not
after.
coming back. He's gonna be like,
He's
"Fuck
not
this.
coming back.
This you
He's like,
ruined it."
you guys, I was gone for one time, one episode, and you guys burned the ship down.
I'll have a new
Mhm.
tattoo to show off next time.
Yeah.
I'm
Nice.
excited.
Tattoo cast. I'll update
Yeah.
everybody on my playthrough with Death Stranding
Yes,
potentially,
please. That'd be great.
or I will attempt to stream it. I don't know when or where I'd have the time to stream it, but
Oh yeah, join us on Wednesday. Me and Dan are playing Returnal,
yeah,
That's
co-op
right.
Returnal. On Fridays, Erica is playing cozy stream games. She's playing post-apocalyptic games with
Animal
bunnies.
Crossing.
Animal
With
Crossing,
Animal Crossing.
cutesy. Now I want to play Cult of the Lamb when that comes out because that is absolutely a cutesy apocalyptic game, and I love it.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
So good.
dear.
So
I'm
yeah,
So
gonna
join us
go.
on Wednesday.
We're gonna do some gardening. We're gonna do some cooking and some decorating on Happy Home Paradise and probably a villager hunt. Everyone loves a good villager
on your
hunt
cozy stream,
on my
yes.
cozy stream.
So yeah, Maria and I will be playing Returnal on Wednesday. Maria's got her cozy
It's
stream on
gonna be fun.
Friday, and then we'll be doing
Erica, not Maria.
something. Did I say it backwards?
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah, flip
person.
flop those.
That person.
Flip flop.
Maria's like cozy games. Screw that.
Nah. But we will be playing some sort of chaos on the weekend as well. Potentially Dead by Daylight. Potentially other things.
I want to play Dead by
All right. Thank you everybody for checking out this episode of the podcast. Sorry about the little bit of lags, but be sure to check this out
Daylight.
on your favorite podcasting services as well if you want to listen to this instead of watch it for some reason. But yeah, you can do that.
There's
Anything
great
else we got to
faces.
plug before we close her out?
I think that's everything. I
I think we
think you
pretty
got
much
it
plugged
I think
covered.
that's
everything.
good.
We
Thank you,
plugged
Yep.
everyone.
Watch us on YouTube. I'm
Yes.
thinking this podcast will find its home back to YouTube now after we've kind of got the Twitch channels
Yeah.
established.
That's a good idea. It's kind of used as a library for uploads.
Yeah, because YouTube is for the videos that we're making. It's going to be for our podcasts, casts, hopefully in the future. And you will be getting lots of gameplay streams
Mhm.
coming at you on our Twitch channel from now on. But yeah, thank you all. Have a good night. That's been the Deadpan Podcast.
Bye.
Bye. Penises.